Hi everyone, I'm Rodrika.
Hi, I'm Sarah Louise.
And we are Unblocked. And today we have BACKtotheSCOOTER.fun with us. And this is Jan and this is Dougal.
Hi.
So they're here, they're actually providing the e-scooters for us to test out later and review them properly. But before we do that, we just wanted to ask them a few questions today.
Yeah, so one of the main things that's coming up with e-scooters lately is the rules and the regulations. There's a lot of people saying that they're illegal to use in the UK at the moment. Can you tell us more about what you can actually do with the e-scooter at the moment and any changes in the law that are coming into play soon?
Right, do you want to say something? Or?
Yeah, totally. So at the moment, we're kind of running by a law from the 1800s, so it's quite out of date to do with carriages. So the law on personal electric vehicles really does need to be updated here in the UK. Obviously, in lots of other countries in Europe, that's already been done. And as far as it is here, there are lots of petitions at the moment to get it looked at. And the Bird Scooter Rental Company are working closely with TfL on improving the infrastructure, the cycle infrastructure and infrastructure that could be used for electric scooters as well. So there's lots kind of happening and there's lots of discussion about it. But as it stands legally at the moment, you really have to ride them on private land.
Mm-hmm. So how do the Bird scooters work? Because you can hire them from places in London, right?
So the Bird scooters have been having a trial in the Olympic Park, a 3-month trial. So that's the only place in London so far that they're available. So that is private land.
Right, okay.
So it's a test run really to see how well they go and how popular they are in London, and for everyone to get a chance to have a go on them as well.
Yeah, I mean, we're actually hoping to try some of them out later. I got the app on my phone, so maybe we'll get to try that later. But back to some basic questions. How much should we expect like an e-scooter to cost?
So we sell them for £397.
Okay.
That's for either the black or the white Xiaomi M36, which is the model that we've chosen. So that's probably the sort of lower price range for a good quality adult electric scooter. Okay. You can buy them for less than that, but you'll get less battery life and less mileage and speed from them. And then they go up to about 1,500.
They can go up to anything, and I think the reason we chose this one was because it's been tried and tested. They hired them out in LA for the last 3 years, and because it's made of an aircraft grade aluminium, it's very sturdy, very. I'm laughing now. We did a few videos just before Christmas where we did Santa jousting, where we were clashing them together. So check that out.
We can do that.
We did use professional stuntmen for that one, but they're very, very sturdy, and as I say, they have been tried and tested. So there's a few kinks on them that can be ironed out. Like when you fold them down, the joint can get a little unstable, and so there's a simple little rubber washer you can put in that will keep it smooth. It's one of these that have been tried and tested, and it won last year's, I think, design award of the best design marketing. And the price range, it's at that sort of £400 mark. It's a lot cheaper than a lot of bicycles even these days, let alone electric bikes.
So how much do they go up to?
As you're saying, about 1,500. I mean,
Yes.
there are some weird and crazy ones now. If you look at, especially what the Japanese and Chinese are doing, the frighteningly up to 70 miles an hour sort of things.
Wow.
You don't want to be.
So what kind of speed do the ones that you sell go up to? What's a normal e-scooter top speed?
Yeah, so we're looking at around 16, 17 miles an hour. It depends a little bit on the weight of the person.
So was that 16 or 60?
No, 16, 6. So yeah, we're still
sounds a bit safer actually, because I did have a go on a motorised skateboard. I didn't obviously go to a top speed, but I think it went up to 30 miles an hour, which actually does feel a bit dangerous.
I started off, and part of the reason I got into the scooters was I made my own skateboard and used, well, it was originally one that I bought from China, and the first day I used it I didn't realise that top speed was getting off 30 miles an hour, and I had it on full speed and it went from under me and I smashed both my wrists.
Wow.
So it was an expensive lesson. Very, very tricky unless you
know. So how dangerous, coming out of that conversation, do you think that the e-scooters are, like, in your opinion?
They're pretty safe.
In my opinion, extraordinarily safe. I've had 4 6-year-olds who pick them up within 2 or 3 minutes. Most people who try to use them, it's intuitive. It's got a brake, you've got stability, and so long as you're not doing anything really stupid. I think one of the most dangerous things about it is because it's so quiet, people don't hear you coming, and so they'll step out in front of you.
Like the normal electric cars.
The electric
cars are a bit like that, aren't they?
So you've got a good bell,
you've got
and
a bell,
obviously you
use your bell.
you
Use your
can
bell and
yell as well.
and just be sensible. I mean, there is this whole legality thing, but every day I'm seeing 2 or 3 every day around London. What I'm finding is that so long as people are just sensible, it's just common sense. Don't ride fast if you're around people. Be wary of what you're doing. Don't ride too near cars. Just use a bit of common sense. And I mean, generally the police and people, as long as you slow down and wave and smile at them, they're not going to touch you. It's too much paperwork for them, to be honest.
I know, I'd say that I've been commuting on mine daily pretty much for months, and see more and more electric scooters every day. And I think as long as you ride respectfully, which I do, I've had no issues whatsoever at all. Keep an eye out for bikes, keep an eye out for pedestrians, traffic and stuff. But I've driven past lots of police cars and vans and on the pavements, and they've not batted an eye.
Because I mean, the biggest problem we have is getting stopped by people saying, "Where can I buy one? I want one.
Wow.
Where can I buy one?" So
it's police officers.
Yes,
They should have them for the force,
well,
really.
they should. They're about ideal because you will. I mean, somebody was telling me a story. I got my haircut yesterday, and it's the 12-year-old who's got a super powerful one, and very dangerous on it. And so if he wants to run off round, the police can't catch him. So they need to catch up. Police force, you need to get some scooters out there.
We've had lots of conversations with security guards, actually, like event security guards and stuff, who are like, actually, this would be amazing
to go and catch people.
If they're kind of like looking after quite a big site to be able to get from A to B.
How many people in London are using e-scooters? Do you know?
Don't know, actually.
I don't know, but I have noticed that, especially over the last couple of months, every day I go out to see 1 or 2 or 3. I live in the East End of London. For some reason, it's suddenly becoming very, very popular.
Yeah, when we first got out like mid last summer, it was really rare to see anyone on one. It was like, there's another scooter. Whereas now, I was just hopping off the bus last night because I was coming home late, and a guy turned down my road on a scooter just like mine, and I'd seen 2 more earlier on in the day. So it's growing.
How many companies are selling e-scooters here in London?
So there's
well, when we started, there was only 2.
When did you start?
September?
It's sort of August, September, wasn't it?
2018, is that?
Yeah. And now there's at least a dozen, if not more. So it's got very competitive. So there's a lot of good bargains to be got. Which hasn't helped us. It means we don't make much profit, but it means that it's getting out there, and it's eco-friendly, it's environmentally friendly.
Sure. Talking about environmentally friendly, how do you feel more people using e-scooters could really change the congestion and pollution in London?
Well, I think exactly that. You're not, there's no emissions. I mean, that is the problem in London. I mean, the big problem we've got in London is a lot of the diesel. The main vehicles we have are buses and taxis, which are diesel. Which, with loose piston rings, they throw out diesel vapour, which is very, very dangerous for people to breathe in, and that is the big problem in London especially. So I think with this, there's no fumes.
But what can people realistically do on them though? Like, how's it going to reduce that? I mean, can people go and do their grocery? We're actually going to try and do a few little tests later and see what we can actually do with the e-scooter. But I mean, how usable are they? Can people get to work on them? Can they take stuff with them to work? Can they do a grocery shop? You know, like what can they replace car-wise?
Yeah, I mean, I use mine sort of for most like errand running, really. Also for exploring London more. I really hadn't kind of got how great and interesting like the cycle routes in London are and how well they're mapped out. So since I've had my scooter, I've really been exploring a lot more. But on a practical note, I've commuted between Crouch End and Camden, which by public transport will take about 35 minutes, depending on if I arrive at the bus stop at the right time. On my scooter, 20 minutes door to door, and a really nice way to travel on back roads as well, and just really efficient. I use mine to go to the supermarket, post office, just anywhere I need to get to, like nice and quickly and easily, and it folds up so easily as well. If you're going out, you can just stick it under a table in a pub or in a restaurant.
I think that is the beauty. If you go to the shops, you go to the supermarket or whatever, it just folds up. You carry it, so you don't have to worry about chaining it up. Or,
how heavy are they?
They're 12.5 kilos.
So it's not light, but it's solid, and it's not hard for most people to carry.
Is there any kind of theft problem with them?
Well, they have the Xiaomi M365 that we have and sell has an internal lock, so it has an app and you can lock it on the app. So if anyone tries to move the scooter, it will beep and the wheels are locked. Obviously, you can pick them up.
They could, yeah.
So if you're going to leave it anywhere, you want to use a D-lock, really, something like that. But I just keep mine close to me, lock it on the app, and just keep an eye on it like I would.
Because they don't need a key, right?
No.
There's nothing like to start it. You just push a button.
There's some of the more expensive models do have keys and stuff for security, but. I mean, if anybody wants to take it, they could just pick it up and carry it, and obviously.
But at least they can't just pick it up straight away and run with it with the app, and get it turned on and stuff, because it'd take them a while. So
and they won't be able to unlock it because the app is connected to your device and your scooter, and you have to pair the two up when you first get it. So that's good.
I wanted to ask: do any of the e-scooters come with seats? Can they come with seats?
Yes, I mean there's
buy them to attach.
so many extras that you can attach to them. You can make your phone. There's all sorts of different attachments, especially this one because it's been out on the market for over 3 years now, and so lots of other outside people have developed different things for it.
Well, because I'm imagining it could be a good replacement for those big mobility scooters.
Well, it's funny you should say that. Last week we had a guy, and we didn't even know. He said, look, I'm interested. We met up with him, gave him a demonstration. And he said, well, you see, I'm a double amputee. I mean, we didn't know 6 years ago he had got sickle cell anemia and had both his legs amputated and had done a lot of physiotherapy, so much so that he had to tell us. But he said, this is brilliant for me because, A, I don't look as if I'm a cripple on a mobile scooter, and B, I don't have to worry if I meet my mates down the pub that I'm going to be in pain. I can jump on this and know, and so it was a wonderful feeling.
And he said that his youngest son has got a kick scooter, and so he's really looking forward to being able to scoot with his son as well, which is just really, really lovely. But it was just going to be a really practical solution for him.
Totally,
that he'll also, stylish and cool, and good fun as well. So
I did actually want to ask. You said you sell adult scooters, but are there the children-sized scooters available?
Well, to be honest with you, I've had the youngest has been a 6-year-old. Last week I had a 9-year-old, and they picked up. Usually this size they pick up pretty quickly. I mean, there are younger that obviously for youngsters you can get the lot cheaper one if you've got a 4 or 2-year-old or whatever. But no, it's amazing how quickly youngsters pick it up.
Would you yourself recommend a child to use an e-scooter?
I don't see why not. One thing I would say, especially with a child, and for everybody really, I should say it, just make sure you've got the proper protection. Make sure you've got a helmet. Make sure you've got gloves. Because anywhere there could be potholes, you might come unstuck, and as long as you're wearing a reasonable protective gear, you're fine. But that's the same with bicycles and everything else, really. It's just a bit of common sense.
And if a child's riding an e-scooter, obviously you just need to be careful of pedestrians and other people around you as well. and keep speed down. And
Yes, yeah, definitely.
So one thing that I think a lot of people want to know about that's important is the charging aspect. So, how long it takes to do a full charge, how long the e-scooter lasts on a full charge, and how many charging points there are in London, or you might not know the exact figure, but are there a lot? Is it going to be easy to charge up?
Super easy. So to charge from completely flat to full takes 5.5 hours.
Okay.
And you just plug it into a normal wall socket at home. So you can charge it anywhere that there's a normal power socket. It's really, really cheap to charge, like pence. So I think 20 pence for 800 miles or something like that. I mean, I have noticed no difference in my electricity bills since I've got my scooter. I just charge mine overnight if it needs a charge, and they run to about 18.5 miles per battery charge. Again, that depends a little bit on the size of the person that's riding it and how many hills you go up.
Do you find cafes and pubs are quite accommodating? Do you ask?
Well, it's a bit like a mobile phone. You say, can I plug my phone in? You say, can I plug my scooter in? And as long as there's a socket and you're giving them trade, usually they're okay. The other beauty thing with most of them, especially these ones, is that it does have regenerative braking, so that it will recharge itself. If you're going downhill, and you take your hands off, it will charge the battery up as it's going, which is quite good. And if you are running low on battery, it's got an eco mode, so it will limit the speed and limit the acceleration, but you won't use as much battery. So it's always, if you are getting low on your battery, switch it to eco mode.
Great. I know we moved on a bit, but actually, there are many fast charging alternatives for electric cars and that. Do they have those for e-scooters yet? Because you said it takes about 5.5 hours, but sometimes a lot of the technology, they have the quick charger, like the turbo charger charger types. Do they have that yet for e-scooters?
I don't know.
I haven't come across it, so I don't know, but I'm sure if there's an idea, somebody will
just
come up with it.
Can you get a spare battery?
You can. There is a kit. I mean, I've not looked into it. I was actually thinking of wiring one up just myself. And if you get a spare battery, you will get extra speed and you will get extra, obviously, distance. You'll double the distance. So rather than 18 miles, it'll be 36 miles. One thing you've got to be a little bit cautious about is as the battery dwindles, your speed is going to get slower because the battery hasn't got as much juice to power you. But other than that,
so adding a second battery is an option. Adding a second battery for extra mileage and speed, or that you can switch between. But we haven't tried that as of yet. So 18 miles on a charge is pretty fine, really, for everything that I've wanted to do on mine.
Okay, so I also wanted to ask, are e-scooters waterproof?
That's a good question. So obviously if you're riding when it's wet outside, you want to be careful not to slip like you would do riding a bike or something. But also there are 2 points on these scooters where you really don't want to get them super wet. One is where you plug it in, which is on the side of the base. So if you're going through puddles, just need to remember that's quite low to the ground, although it has a rubber cap to go on it, and also the control panel on the top, which is where the electrics are. So if you're out and about in kind of light rain and stuff, it's totally fine.
And I have seen some people riding through fountains, haven't I, Jan? In Southend, which isn't very clever, is it?
Totally fine.
Still working.
It's still going
totally working. And actually, there are some companies who have got 3D printers who are making really cool covers for the control panel, waterproof covers. So they're available to buy online for just a few pounds as well, which I think is a really great idea. But don't hose it down when you're going to wash your electric scooter, just like a damp cloth and some spray.
Well, you laugh, but I bet lots of people...
No, we did have one customer who did exactly that. He cleaned the top of it with a hose pipe and soaked it and ruined the circuit board. Luckily, we were able to take the top out, dry the circuit board out, put it back in, and it worked fine. But don't give it a bath. It's not designed for that. No.
Why should people get an e-scooter? Like, what are the main benefits?
Well, me personally, I was introduced to them after my tragic skateboard experiences by my friends, Jan and my partner. And the one thing I found was just how much fun it is. You're on it for 2 minutes and wow, and then just if I want to go and have a bit of fun, it's just so much fun. It's like being a kid again. So you feel free and you just jump on it and scoot away, scoot down the canal, and even if I've got nowhere to go, I make an excuse now to go out and well, I could go to the shop again, and because it's just a fun way to travel, and it puts a little bit of fun into your life, I think.
Yeah, totally. I think the joy factor for sure, and I just love like every one of my friends that I've said, do you want to have a go on my scooter? And some of them are like, yeah, straight away, and others are like, oh, I'm not sure. And then like within 2 seconds of being on it, they've just got like the most broad, big smile, and it's all just like, wow, I love this.
My little go on when I had it, I loved it as well. Yeah, you do. I can see how you get hooked quite easily when you have a go. Fun. Okay, so thanks for watching, everybody.
We'll see you in the next video. Bye!
Bye!